Yo, what's up, guys? So today will be a double header. This one, I'll be talking about my top 10 NBA players of all time. I'll be going from 1 to 5, and then I'll go to the 6 to 10. I want to let you guys know that this is my opinion. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications so y'all know the next time I will be posting. And let's get into it. Just start with my 1 through 5, okay? 1 is LeBron James. 2 is Michael Jordan. 3 is Kareem. 4 is Shaq. And 5 is Stephen Curry. Now, you guys are going to be like, yo, how you got LeBron over Jordan? I think that LeBron's consistency and longevity is over Jordan. His scoring is over Jordan. I think that how LeBron is in his 40s and still producing top 10 NBA player in 2025 numbers is absolutely disgusting. And no other NBA player would be able to say that for themselves besides a guy that I'll be talking about really soon. Now, Michael Jordan, he's amazing. Now, how he three-peated with Chicago, how he did 6-0, all these things, how he was the focal point of the Chicago Bulls team with Dennis Rodman, with the Scottie Pippens, with all those crucial guys to that chip is phenomenal. And there was not a lot of guys who was able to do 6-0. And the reason why I don't have him over LeBron is because he started to he went to baseball and then he came back and he wasn't the same in Wizards. So that's why I don't have him over LeBron. LeBron, he was consistent for his whole career. He was amazing with Cleveland. He was amazing with Miami. And he's still really solid with the Lakers. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's a guy who is amazing, still really solid in his 30s. And I think that Kareem's scoring is over Shaq. I think that how Kareem was, one of the main guys in the 60s era, and how, he was just so dominant in his era, winning that championship with Milwaukee and then fighting with LA. And he had the scoring record until LeBron in 2023. Now, Shaq is amazing. He's more dominant than Kareem, but he was a terrible free throw shooter. He had a 52.7 career free throw percentage. And, Kareem is not that much better. I don't have Kareem's up in front of me. But I just think that Kareem, he was elite. And you could say that Shaq was better in his prime, but just Kareem was so good for so long, and he's just a phenomenal player. Now, Curry is at 5. I think that you can say he's one of the most revolutionary point guards of all time. How he changed how defenses guarded him was phenomenal. We all know his shooting ability, and he's not a bad defender. He's obviously not the best defender. He's definitely not. But he did average 1.4 steals a game, I believe. And, he was a right defender. Now, that does bring him down a little bit. Because if he was an amazing defender, like the Magic Johnsons and the Gary Paytons, he wouldn't be in the top 4. But it is what it is. Now, let's go to the 6 through 10. 6, Tim Duncan. 7, we're going to have Kobe. 8, we're going to have Larry Bird. 9, we're going to have Magic Johnson. And 10, I'm going to have Hakeem. Now this part of the ranking, Tim Duncan is phenomenal. His dynasty with San Antonio, he gave the torch to Kawhi. His defense, Tim Duncan had, is phenomenal. He was a really solid scorer. He was able to crash the boards. And he's just so important to the Spurs dynasty. If he wasn't there, so was David Robinson. They would not sniff that. And he's incredible. Now, Kobe, he has the influence, he has the impact, but he is still an amazing player. He's an 18 times All-Star. He was a really solid defender. He was a really solid scorer. And Kobe showed that how hard of a worker that he was. Now, if we move on to number 8, Larry Bird. This is a toss-up. Larry Bird is definitely a better shooter than Kobe Bryant. Larry Bird is a really solid defender. Larry Bird was probably the best in his era. One of the best in his era for sure. But This one's really a toss-up. You can put Larry over it. I'm not mad at all. Number 9 is Magic Johnson. Now, you guys might say this is low. He's phenomenal. He could guard 1 through 5, and he is an absolute beast. Now, I think he has, he's amazing. But I don't think he was as good as a scorer as my top 5. I don't think he is, I don't think he's as good as a scorer as the Larry Birds. He's a great scorer, but he's not as good of a scorer as, for me, a Kareem or a LeBron or a Jordan or anybody in my top 5. However, his defense, how he won the MVPs, how crucial he was to the Lakers, even though Shaquille O'Neal did have a huge contribution to the Lakers rings. Actually, I'm gonna switch this up. I'm gonna put Magic Johnson at 8, Larry Bird at 9. Now Hakeem Olajuwon is at 10. I do have Hakeem over Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell because Hakeem wasn't on a great roster, and he still produced. He put up amazing numbers. He's the best Rocket of all time. He was so iconic for that era, and especially for Houston. And I have him over Bill Russell because rings aren't everything. And Bill Russell had a lot of rings, but, I just think Hakeem didn't work with, didn't have the most help as a lot of other bigs did. Now, honorable mentions, there's Will Chamberlain, there's Bill Russell, there's Carmelo Anthony, there's David Robinson, Oscar Robinson, AI in them, but that's just my top 10. Let me know my thoughts. I tried to explain every single position, every single selection in this video. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.